I'm in a closed poly relationship, and we had our second child last August. Someone from social services called us wanting to do a check. There was a phone call and then an online video call where we showed her around. She spoke to our oldest, saw the baby, and there were no issues. We passed with flying colors. But I'm having a bit of postpartum anxiety. I'm in therapy, and this gave me an anxiety attack, and my partners had to calm me down and reassure me at length that we were all okay. I called my mom the next day. I talked about the check, how upsetting and anxiety-inducing it was, and how I don't understand why we even ended up on their radar. Mom then said that maybe someone was concerned for the baby and did what they thought best. And I responded that they could have talked to us. But Mom said a few more comments along these lines, including telling me that I could always take both kids and come stay with her. I asked her if she called them, and she confirmed that she made several calls out of concern for the baby. I yelled at her and hung up. She made clear on this call that her sole reasoning for making the calls was that we're poly. She was concerned about the stability of our household. It's been about 3 weeks since then, and Mom's birthday was a couple days ago. We've not spoken since that phone call, but she has been messaging me, and I've been ignoring her. For her birthday every year, I either physically deliver or send her a nice gift. And since my oldest was born, they've made her a card to go with it. She describes my gift and the homemade card in particular as a highlight to her birthday and never shuts up about how sweet, cute, lovely the card is. I didn't do that this year, and as I'm the only one of her children to give her grandchildren as of right now, except my brother who doesn't speak to her, this meant she didn't get the card she anticipates all year. She texted me several times, asking if there was a delay in sending, and eventually called me. I answered and told her that given she called social services on me, I'm not really in a gift-giving mood this year. Mom got upset, saying I was being unfair and callous, that she was just trying to look out for the baby. I responded that she was being a narcissistic, controlling witch, and I couldn't think of a single reason to do anything nice for her ever again. She then burst into tears. Dad took the phone and told me off, saying that while he doesn't approve of her actions, Mom did what she thought was best, and I need to be more understanding, particularly as we passed the check, so nothing bad actually came out of this for anyone but Mom. Mom must have involved my siblings because 2 of them texted me similar sentiments after I hung up with Dad. They said I was too quick to write her off and want me to apologize for insulting her and send her a card. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Your mother was not doing what she thought was best. She called child services to report you and your partner as unfit parents. The consequences for your family with a call like that are huge, even if you pass the check. Your names are now in a database. They will remain in that database forever. That is not a small thing. Her actions have consequences. You do not owe her an apology or a birthday card. If someone tried to blow up your house and destroy your family, would you be expected to behave like it was nothing since the plot failed? Nope. And yet your family expects you to apologize for insulting the woman who tried to do exactly the same thing to you? Nope. You are not wrong. She was being judgmental of your clearly healthy and happy relationship with your partners and thought it was unfit to raise a child in, so she thought she'd call CPS, who could easily take your children away from you and your partners if they wanted to, and get your own children and her grandchildren out of their own home. If your siblings see nothing wrong with the fact that she didn't just call once, but multiple times to try and get your children taken from you, then she can call CPS on them when they have children. And let's be very bluntly honest. If someone wants a child removed from a home, they do not call just once. They call multiple times, just like your mom did. My mother did something similar to me. I've been in no contact with her for 5 years. No one needs that kind of negativity, anxiety, or threat in their lives. In my experience, if they've done it once, they will probably do it again. You are not the idiot. My wife has a playful personality. She teases, mocks, laughs at me all the time, everywhere, during dinner, in the bathroom, at work, when we're intimate, and in public too. No matter how serious the situation is, she'd always crack a joke to lighten up the mood. I found this both great and annoying, as certain situations require us to be serious. I quite frankly don't know the reason behind her behavior. My sister suggested that it might be a way for her to cope with past traumatic events, like her brother's death. He passed away before we met, and understand how hard this is. We have a little son who's pretty much like his mother. We gave him the nickname Clown because of how he's always laughing and telling jokes and dressing funny. We don't call him that in public though. She gave birth to our second baby, and ever since she got pregnant, it got worse, even worse in the past month. She's at home while I work long hours. Every other day, she'd call me during work to ask me something, then suddenly start freaking out, telling me her water broke and I needed to get home fast. She's done it twice and recorded our call to listen to it with her sisters and laugh at my reaction. It made me look bad for lying to my employer and telling him my wife went into labor twice. I'd come up with excuses, telling him that there was a mistake or something, but never telling my wife lied for the LOLs. Saturday, I was out working and meeting up with some clients in an area 2 hours away from home. It's a project we've been working on, and the two clients wanted to see it. Suddenly, my phone started ringing. It was my wife. I looked at it and thought she was at it again, trying to be funny, telling me she went into labor. I put my phone on silent. Then I got a text from her, telling me that I needed to get home to take her to the hospital. But I just quickly replied, telling her to stop. This wasn't a time for messing around. I had a lot of work, and driving 2 hours just to find she was just kidding was not okay. But in about 30 minutes, I got a call from her sister calling me names for ignoring my wife's calls, and that she ended up driving her to the hospital herself. I was shocked. I left work and drove more than 2 hours to get to the hospital. My wife saw me and was cussing me out and telling me to get out. I wasn't allowed into the delivery room, and her mother insulted me, asking me how I could leave my wife home alone and not answer her calls. I felt awful already. I wasn't allowed to see our baby until 10. The entire family called me neglectful idiot and said I deserved what I got. My parents said I was in the wrong, although I explained that I didn't know. My wife keeps saying I had no right to complain about not being in the delivery room after I ignored her like that and made her feel helpless. I understand what I did may look like I was being neglectful and ignoring my wife, but I really thought she was trying to be funny and say that she was just kidding like she did before. I don't think she told her family that she lied about this serious matter before. You are not the idiot. She played a trick on you and lied about her water breaking twice. What on earth did she expect? You're a better person than me because I don't have the patience for that type of nonsense. You need to talk to your wife and get to the root of why she keeps doing that and tell her to stop. And don't let her or her family steamroll over you about it. Set some boundaries and enforce them. You are all idiots here. A lack of clear boundaries on your part, and her for potentially costing you your job twice. In my opinion, you're less idiot than her. You could have avoided this by letting her know beforehand after the second time she pulled a prank. The next time she called you, it had better be a real emergency. There's some funky math going on here. It took her 30 minutes to get to the hospital. It would have taken you 2 hours to get to her and another 30 to get to the hospital. Was she able to wait 2 hours and 30 minutes? Probably not, considering she was unable to send a simple, "This is the real thing" kind of message. Anyways, an avoidable mistake that was both you and your wife's fault for not communicating, but everyone else is being a bit illogical and pinning all the blame on you. You are not wrong. While this was a very big and complex situation, I'm going to sum it up with an old saying we all know, the boy who cried wolf. In this case, your wife is the boy, and her labor is the wolf. She called wolf over and over again when there was no wolf, and you fell for it. Because of this, when there actually was a wolf, her going into labor, you didn't believe her. This is a case of natural consequence. Maybe next time, your wife will think twice before making a joke out of something as important as her going into labor. I, female 19, had a small birthday celebration. Though I didn't even want one to begin with, my mom ignored me and still planned one. So I told her I won't mind as long as she doesn't play the video. My mom has this tradition, I suppose, where she plays a birthday video of us, her kids. And for my siblings, it's a cute baby video of them. They get different baby videos of themselves every year. Imagine my sister's birthday, and my mom plays a clip of her when she was 2 and she's dancing or doing something a toddler would do. But for me, it's the same video of my sister ruining my birthday party. In the video, she threw a tantrum because I got some makeup toy and she wanted it. Mind you, she's a year younger than me. This was my birthday. She ruins my cake, gets on the floor and kicks her legs like she's a toddler. The video starts with me opening presents, ends with everyone calming my sister down. I can see how it could be funny when it's played once or twice, but it loses its humor after several years. When I ask my mom why she won't ever play a video of me as a baby, she uses the excuse, "But this one is funny." I straight up told her, if she plays the video this year, I will walk out. She gave me her word and promised not to play it, and my boyfriend witnessed her saying it. So I arrived with my boyfriend. It was fine for the most part. Then my mom gathers everyone and plays the video. I grabbed my things and left without speaking a word. Now I'm getting crap for leaving. I'm getting called ungrateful and dramatic. Like, I see how I could be dramatic, but it always goes from my birthday celebration to the discussion of how funny my sister behaved. And she brags about it as if it's something to be proud of. She'll say how it should be labeled our birthday because we get the same amount of screen time. It's 3 a.m. as I'm writing this because I'm still getting messages how I overreacted and I should have just dealt with it being played. My mom wants an apology. She said she worked hard and I shouldn't have walked out. I feel like an idiot now for walking out, and I want someone outside of my family to give me that judgment. So, am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Your mom needs to learn how to respect boundaries. Does she play an embarrassing video of herself on her own birthday? If not, tell her you are going to start doing it for her, 'cause it's so funny. As for the people saying you're overreacting, tell them you said you didn't want a party to begin with, and the one condition you set was not having this video played. She played it, and you stuck to your guns and left. If they think that's on you, they are childish. Hopefully next year, you can have a nice quiet birthday, OP. OP just needs to play the same video to show all of their mom's friends what a terrible parent she is for letting one kid do this to her other kid's party and throw a tantrum like a toddler. You are not wrong. Good for you for setting a boundary like this and sticking to it. You're an adult now, so I'd go as far as to say, this should be the end of your mom giving you birthday parties at all. It's obviously not really about what you want, but about what she wants. So in the future, have your own party and invite her. Take control and power in that way. Or leave it behind altogether and just go out to lunch or something from now on birthdays. A friend suggested I get some opinions since the matter is pretty divided at home, and I feel like it's my fault. My wife and daughter, let's call her Meg, nearly adult, are vegans, and while my son, we'll call him Joe, nearly adult too, and I get along with it because we're not picky eaters, so we'll eat whatever. Obviously, I don't mind. My wife was vegan when I married her. However, after an all-vegan diet for most of his life, but one day I asked Joe if he'd like to try a cheeseburger, and now he hides his love for non-vegan foods like me. My wife isn't dumb. I know she knows I occasionally eat meat when she and Meg aren't around, but I clean the kitchen of any and all evidence of meat, so she has an out-of-sight, out-of-mind mentality, or so I thought. My daughter, however, is a strict anti-animal products vegan. I have seen her throw up at the sight of a cooked steak. I have seen her snatch a cheese stick from Joe and throw it out the car window. She has a cute stuffed cow she shows me when I talk about wanting a cheeseburger, kind of a running gag in our family. So a little over a year ago, I had time off work for a little over a week, so I had a brilliant idea to pass the time. I bought a mini fridge and a few supplies, and I crafted a secret cabinet to hide the fridge. Joe and I are the only ones who keep things in the garage, so he stumbled upon it one day when he asked where the cabinet came from. Since then, we both kept our non-vegan products in there, safely locked in the cabinet. I made a key for him so he wouldn't rat me out. We'd only open it when my wife and Meg weren't home, and he also knows to make the kitchen spotless after he's done. One morning, a couple of weeks ago, I got up earlier than usual, So I decided to make myself an egg and turkey sandwich. I've done this many times before without getting caught, but this morning was different. Just as I bit into the sandwich and could feel the yolk run down my chin, I heard a scream that shook my soul. Meg was standing there, white as a ghost. I was caught. My wife came to investigate, and I was chewed out for over an hour by the both of them. I apologized and thought that'd be the end of it. However, when I got home, Meg was standing in the garage, my secret cabinet pried open, and my fridge empty. She said she knew I had gotten the meat from somewhere and found it. I yelled at her for throwing out food, but she stood her ground and told my wife about it. My wife was also upset, and Joe was furious that the food he had in there was thrown out. We argued that we are entitled to have something different every once in a while, but they say if we respected them and their diet choice, we wouldn't have done this. It's caused a divide in my normally peaceful household, and I feel like I'm to blame. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. This is ridiculous. You are the parent, not Meg. Time to put her in her place. You should make her pay you and her brother back. You can't throw away other people's stuff. In the real world, that's called stealing and is a crime. You are not the idiot. You've gone out of your way and above and beyond to be respectful of their choices. Now it's time for them to get mature and be respectful of yours and your son's choices. This will only alienate people with this holier-than-thou attitude. You're allowed to eat what you enjoy, and so are they. You are all idiots here. Your wife and daughter for thinking they can dictate what you eat, and you and your son for not putting your foot down in your own house and making it clear you'll eat what you like. A secret fridge? Really? I think your wife and daughter are definitely the worst here. But dude, seriously, you're a fully grown man hiding food. Tell them you'll eat what you like. Several months ago, my grandpa died. He practically raised me as I lost my parents young, and he ended up leaving everything to me, which was a bit of a surprise. My grandpa owned a large plot of land with a huge house on it, which he had turned into a fancy apartment complex, and on the other side of the plot, he lived in a small bungalow with everything on the same floor, perfect for a man his age, but too small for me, as I and my girlfriend have a kid on the way and want more kids. Well, there's a great house right on the property, the apartment/house. Just needs to knock a few walls out, remodel, and boom, amazing home. I decided a few months ago to inform the tenants that I would not be renewing their leases, and I expected them to move out by the end of it, giving them each about 5 months to find something else. Since then, it is all broken loose. Apparently, my grandpa was asking way too little for the location, and the state of the apartment. If you want something of similar quality in the area, you'd be paying 3 times as much. He probably knew he was asking way too little and wanted to do something nice, and the people there are begging me not to evict them. One lady even came to my door with her 3 kids. I am temporarily living in Grandpa's house, to beg me not to kick them out. I told her that I was moving in there myself, which sprung her into a tirade, claiming I do not need that much space. Since then, I've been getting messages from some of these people's families and friends on my social media, trying to convince me to change my mind. I feel so bad about all of this, especially considering that most of these people are single parents with kids and will never find something as nice for the same price anywhere near here. And because of that, I am wondering if I am the idiot. You are not the idiot. I would have said no idiots here, but it went beyond them just wishing they could stay, saying you don't need it, having others try to fight their battle, etc. It's your property, and you're giving them ample notice. They've had years of an incredibly great deal. Remind them that you're aware of this, and even if you weren't moving in yourself, you'd be raising the rent at least 3-fold. They could have been saving all this time, etc. As you say, they will unlikely find such a great deal elsewhere, but that doesn't mean they'll be homeless or broke. They are simply losing a sweet deal that they've had through perhaps both the generosity and mistake of your grandfather. That does not make you an idiot. I'm gonna say you are not the idiot here. Your grandfather gave the house to you, so you do own it. I find it childish that people are using social media to get to you. Upon that, they were paying below usual rent, so I suppose they have savings which could be deposited for a new apartment/house. You gave them 5 months, which is fine, but I suggest giving it at least 6, 7, since it will be hard for some tenants of yours to get a new place. You are not wrong. You own the property. You don't owe them anything. If they can't afford similar conditions elsewhere, that's hardly your problem. Think of yourself and your family, because that's what's important. Congratulations on the little one, and best of luck.